Stream has started. So, welcome everybody to the 1879 actual play. To kick us off with the introductions, I am Brad Decker. I'm the line developer of 1879. I'm going to be playing Nigel Fullmore, who has finally now been outed as a mage. And I will let everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Joel. I'm one of the writers for 1879. I'm playing Lady Morgana Temple Whitworth, to use her full-ish name. Skipping the middle names. She is an elven aristocrat that hasn't been outed as anything yet.
I'm playing Weymont Cromwell. My name is Chris. I also did some writing in 1879. And Weymont Cromwell is an elven mage. And sort of aristocrat. Bit of a black sheep, really.
I'm Michelle, and I play August Ezekiel Ford, who's an elf investigator, or rather an elven investigator. I don't do any writing, I just play.
I'm Notitia. I play River, the explorer who was right about violence being the answer.
Yes, that is exactly how I recall that.
But sometimes violence is the
Verbatim.
answer.
Let's see, so that, I think to me, I'm Andi, I'm the GM. Let's see. I've been thinking very hard about our last session because they're going to recap soon. And I will let you know. I decided, not that you guys cheat, but because your dice rolls are so good that next time they get that good, I'm just going to call for everyone has to use a dice roller because the dice rollers hate everybody. And that will solve you guys being lucky. It's a good plan, right?
Yep, that is totally fair. Which dice roller would you like to use?
No, I'm not going to do that. I fucking hate dice rollers. I just thought it'd be funny to tell all of you that, because I don't believe you cheated. No. I just think that the dice rollers hate everybody, so.
I mean, I would have
That was a
been
much
cool
better
with
plan.
that, but my dice were playing to the ref last week, so.
Yes, your dice were nice to me. Everybody else's dice were not. But
As
who would like to
mentioned
recap
before,
so that...
As mentioned before, my dice tend to pick one thing. And Brad
One
will
thing.
ascertain that that I get one thing. Everything else is painfully average.
Hey, if it's studying bad character you're good at, we're happy with it.
Yes, stun is actually a very useful fucking spell, right, River?
River knows nothing about that.
Yeah, River's other character, Lexi's other character knows all about that.
Oh yeah, Erica loved the stun spell.
Yeah, that was like, just stun it. It's a door, don't care, stun it, it'll fall over. Motherfucker, how did you get the door to fall over with the... Never mind, I quit. All right.
Hey, that's not all she did.
No, it's not. She also learned about little apples of paradise. There was that. There you go. Little apples of paradise and stun spells. So who would like to recap?
How to turn an ambush into a tryst.
I mentioned little apples of paradise. The fact that maybe everybody doesn't know what that meant that's their problem. By the way, it means boobs.
Devil's dumplings.
I was thinking
Devil's
rude,
dumplings. All right, who would like to recap for us today?
I can give it a go. I think
All right.
it is best summed up that in our investigation of a series of murders, we discovered the creature behind it that was manipulating people into killing people was a evil fae, and we discovered that fairies do not like bullets.
That is true. It turns out fairies do not like bullets.
As we attempted to deal with her, call in the Grail Knights, and she attempted to ensorcel Morgana and other things. Morgana kept her talking long enough for the rest of the party to turn up, and then we proceeded to shoot her because she was bad.
A lot.
Possibly less than we
Very
thought.
specifically well in a lot.
The fact that it turns out that Nigel, being a mage and being able to cast a spell called Light, is really helpful against a fairy that can use darkness to travel away from us.
Yes,
I had
that's
rather-
also unhelpful.
I had rather hoped that she wouldn't get completely murdered. Asking her questions may have been an idea.
It might have been true.
Also true. But they didn't wait for that.
Some people didn't wait for that. I was using stun the whole time.
We tried.
Okay, sorry. Other people didn't wait for that. Also,
Everybody
and
else
who
was
got
like, the
kill
answer
shot
is
even though
clearly.
they weren't here. Somehow not here, and yet got the kill shot.
Sometimes guns are the
River.
answer, apparently.
Hey, take care of problems.
They can indeed.
You know, we would have one less recurring problem if the party would have let me deal with it the right way.
I'm just saying that they do take care of problems, kind of irrevocably. there's no coming back from the problem once it solves the problem.
That's actually an interesting opinion that a certain NPC character will be disagreeing with you about.
Yeah, death is just the beginning.
According to someone you've met, yes. All right. Did that about recap? So yes, they. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I've tried some more non-lethal methods if I actually had unarmed combat.
I mean, to be fair, I do have melee combat and could have used the hand axe as a bludgeon.
I don't even have that. A firearm is all I have combat skill wise, so I channeled you, River.
I still maintain agreement that violence shouldn't be the first solution, but when they start using it, it is the one that becomes necessary.
That's because you're a bloody American like me. It's not my first go-to. However, it was never off the table. All right. So, with that, yes, River, also they made a contact within the Knight's Grail. Grail Knights. And that could be useful at some point in life. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but useful. And I think that with all of this happening right outside the offices, like literally right outside the offices, including the shot, there's a police officer who is part of a new paranormal division. And I don't know that they were really as prepared for this as they thought they were. But one of them managed to succumb to the voices that whisper from this mage. And she shot her partner on the doorstep of the office. Was it just the one time, or did she actually shoot him twice?
Twice, but the second time was really
Twice.
ineffective.
Yeah, it was very ineffective. That's right. But she did shoot him twice, and apparently they're in a bit of mischief when they get back because they were not supposed to be in a relationship, especially as he is married and, oh, right, they're partners. So apparently that's no longer. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. I'm sure this sort of thing happens all the time.
It happens probably more than you think, but then when one of you gets bamboozled by a fae and shoots the other one, damn near killing them, and then shoots him again, it just looks bad. It looks very bad. Also, they've decided that fae suck.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's a new opinion they have. They've never actually dealt with one before.
Put that down in my diary. Fae suck. There we go.
Yeah. much like you guys, they'd never dealt with one before, and they have decided that that may be something they should be more cautious about in the future, because they don't know what all those things can do. And a lack of knowledge is sometimes painful. Rather painful. Two, the offices have decided that it's best for things to be calm for a few days. So they've told you to take a little time off, which is out of character, a really wonderful excuse for going and spending some of that AP. Getting training and things like that. Which I know several of you guys have spent some AP and all that. So I don't think that this is going to take long to talk through, just a little bit of, yes, I find someone who can do that. Or can help me learn this. And then something will occur. That's right, Miss Batsy. That's right. Mommy is going to GM and try to kill them again. Their favorite thing. Their favorite thing isn't Faye. No, no, no. Batsy agrees. Death to all the players. Mwahahaha.
I mean, you know, it's more of a collaborative experience.
It is a collaborative. Actually, that is one of my ongoing. Whereas I will just about this, you would not believe how many people I've met when I've given seminars and stuff about GMing. That will, like, I've actually had people come up and say that they love to GM, but they can't find players. And I'm like, that is never how that works. There's 10 to 50 players for every GM I meet, right? Like, how could you not find players? There are tons of players. Then they start talking about all the total party kills. Oh, it's not that you can't find players, it's that you can't find players. So, my suggestion is quit being, Brad, will douchey get us in trouble with the algorithms?
Well, you've already said it enough now.
I don't think it will. I don't even think that they know what that word means. I've decided if I use fancy, not nice words, it's less likely to know.
We've already established I can't crop the recording, so you've already said stuff that's going to get pinged on there.
I know. I'm sorry.
Nobody knows how the algorithm works. It's fine.
It's actually that too.
Honestly, if anybody understands it less than us, it's YouTube themselves.
I know, right?
That is also true.
They've created a monster and it's just out there now.
So yes, it turns out that total party kills just because you're not a nice human or you think it's funny is not the best way to GM. But I will totally make jokes. So, who wants to tell me how their downtime, what they're up to, what they're learning, you know, what they're looking for in case they need a teacher to help them learn something? What are y'all doing?
I think that this would be an excellent time to brush up on my skills, like, for example, my magical theory and my ability to read and write, apparently.
Hey, you know, people didn't think it was all that necessary in that time period, but it turns out it was.
And my ability to give a first impression. I'm going to buy a book about how to win friends and influence people.
Well, digital ranks and read-write is only going to get you another language.
Well, I'll just stick with the one then. But yeah, buying something like research and
you know what? If you were going to, I could make a claim that legalese is a separate language. Because it really kind of is, even in that time period.
Honestly,
even though it looks like the same language.
Honestly, it would kind of be a dialect of Latin.
Yes. In that time period, it would be Latin. Basically, so I think that actually learning Latin might be an actually good idea.
So
it also helps with science words and with medical terminology. Latin's useful.
Yeah, pick up Latin.
I made all of my kids.
Basically, you would just treat each of the other specific uses as like a dialect.
So yeah.
I made all the kids. I made my kids learn Latin prefixes and suffixes and the more common base ones, because it's so helpful for learning a lot of other parts of the language. Latin is useful still.
I did it at GCSE at school.
Did you? Yeah, it's actually very handy.
Romanes eunt domus. Sorry, I had to put the
Romans, they go the house.
Okay.
You gotta get
So
a Monty
that
Python
is
reference
what-
in somewhere.
I will not talk. I met someone who didn't like Monty Python, and then I realized I'm not sure that they understood. That's why
Comedy.
they didn't get it. Well, dry British tongue-in-cheek honey comedy.
All right, Brad, I'm gonna need a hand for a moment to upgrade these skills here.
Okay.
Um,
Just needing tables or.
yeah, if you could like fish me out a table.
Yeah, I got the
They'll-
book up here. I just gotta find it.
Well, this is also a good thing to show because in case people are playing along or following along and they want to play on their own, how you level characters is useful and important knowledge.
Page
Mhm.
264.
River.
Yeah.
Don't show up, Brad. I'm kidding.
I was already in the area.
Yeah, I was already getting
I
it
know.
pulled, so it's fine. I'm just getting the page
So if we're-
actually loaded.
If we are going with how we tagged skills, basically, I would say, right, that research has probably been tagged because we have been doing a bit of research recently.
Oh, almost every case you've done some research.
Yeah. Read, write languages has probably been tagged because I have indeed been reading and writing.
Part of that research was involved reading, yes.
Let's see. I did dispel a magic. so there's that too.
Well, I know Brad has learned Dispel, or Nigel has.
Yes.
Oh, it's a skill. I have it.
Okay. Did you use it?
I did.
I think you tried. Yeah.
I tried.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to use
Tried.
it a couple of
Which
times.
is all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is all that matters.
Yep. Magic, there's actually quite a few skills here I could probably justify, but I just want to kind of raise some of my lower ones.
Yeah, so basically,
So it's
you just need to have tagged it a number of times equal to the rank you're looking to go for. So, like, if you're at rank 2 and you want to go to rank 3, you need to have tagged it 3 times.
Right, well, this spell is probably tagged once at this point, I would imagine. You know?
And I posted the skill advancement cost table in the chat, and I also have that displayed on the screen now. So anybody who's watching at home, I don't know if you can read the skill. That's just kind of live pulled from the book.
Cool. Anyway, the rest are all 1, and I'm pretty sure I've tagged them at least once, so let's go. 950 APs, what shall I do?
Well, you just got 750 from the adventure, so
I know, that's included. I think it is, anyway. How many APs total do you have? I've got 4,850 right now.
5,450, but that doesn't count if you got any individual.
Right, so 5,450 is correct. So I have much AP to spend. So let's get read right up to rank 2. So that's 200. So now I know Latin. Does that include speaking and writing it, or is it just the one? Speaking and reading it.
Speaking is a separate skill.
Right, so reading it is fine.
To answer Mythras, we are not playing hard on the tagging. Like, if you can make a claim that you've used it probably enough, I'm probably not going to question you.
First impression.
And here's the thing, because during downtime, you could, watch this, I would like to learn botany. I know nothing about botany. I went outside and I looked at plants. And then I went to a library and I looked up about plants. There you go. I have botany at 1.
I have established
I
rules
took a
for
weekend
doing that
class.
in the Fort Alice book. They're for training manuals.
Training manuals. But there's also things like there's one like Eagle Eye or whatever, which is practicing your focusing for targeting. You don't really need a book. You can do that. You don't. So like teaching, there's guns, but you can literally sit there with an unloaded weapon, pick a target in a room, and practice focusing on your target and focusing on your sights. You could tell me in the evenings I'd been doing that, and I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
You know what? I'm going to put up
So
awareness. Because
I'm
I've used
not
that
as
for about
hardcore that you
times.
have to have checkmarked it versus give me a good line that your character has a reason, and I will probably be like, okay, sure. But you can't tell me things like I practiced climbing trees and now I would like to be able to do a level 7 acrobats. Because you climbed a tree? I don't know. Maybe if you told me you did some of that parkour stuff, but I don't know that tree climbing gets there. So just
It
give
was
me
quite a
something to hang a
tree.
hat on.
I mean,
That
it was
was a
a
good
big
tree.
tree.
It was a fake tree. It
Because
was a
yeah,
fake
I
tree.
mean, it's a whole level of extra bookkeeping that I don't have in any of my other games, so it's not something that I naturally remember to do with the
Yeah.
tagging. So, hence why
But
I've
like I
got
said,
3,500 AP to spend.
yeah, I'm not I don't tend to be as harsh on that. I don't like it's kind of like you'll notice I don't keep a lot of track of exactly how much money, let alone how much money every character has. It is a level of record keeping that some games push and that some people like in games. I don't.
Okay,
You hit a
cool.
certain level of too much, so I'm pretty easygoing. If you have just you can always ask like, hey, I'm pretty sure like Chris was doing. I'm pretty sure we use this. Why, yeah, you did use that. So
Astral Sight. Gotta put up Astral Sight too.
yeah, I know you use that one.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
And
there's
again,
there's only two skills that I've got in my profession list that I haven't actually
so
added up yet.
so Brad's not going to yell
I've
at
clearly
me.
used everything else.
Brad's not going to yell at me, but let's take Astral Sight.
No,
If
but
I
the
remember
point.
the original rules, the original rules, if I remember them though, Brad, where you had to use them in a quote scene, right?
Yeah,
But if
you had to use it.
If Chris's character said, in the evenings, if I'm not too tired, I pop into Astral Sight so I can get more used to it, I would count that
Correct. Yeah.
as being tagged.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not super finicky on that. There was some debate between how the tagging system was getting implemented. Originally, it was going to be something a lot more complicated, and I pushed for that. But even as is, it's not like super major bookkeeping. Just every time you use the skill, put a little tag mark next to it on the character.
Yeah,
I have a slot. You just
And
put
if
a
you
tally
didn't
mark.
do that, and if you didn't do that, the GM that you're currently with, which matters because the GM and the table get to do these things, says hand waving works most of the time. Just give me something that I could half-ass believable hand wave.
It feels a lot like the Call of
So you're
Cthulhu
all
skill
good.
tagging system, which is fine.
Which is exactly what I tried to model it after.
So, but I am probably not hard on that rule. So don't worry and don't let that slow you down. But in fact, if you don't, yeah, let's ask River because she's played with me before. I'm not hard on this at all.
It is also open if you are actually following the model. You could use additional tags as a reward for somebody. If you do like a really amazing roll, you get to put a bonus tag on that skill because you did something really good with it.
Which would have been the entirety of the last session.
Or to like if somebody
Well,
uses something in
for
a
everyone
clever
else.
way, or that sort of thing.
Hey, for everyone else but you and me, because my rolls were lackluster, horrendously. Like I wasn't. I think I managed to get the NPCs.
I was gonna say you had some pretty good rolls. They were just at the NPCs.
The only thing that I would say about the tag system, Brad, is that I believe personally, and this is probably just me, but I believe personally that there should be some sort of upper limit on it. Because if you're trying to get something from, say, 12 to 13 and you have to tag it 12 times, it gets a bit fuzzy.
Well, that's why you have a slot on the character sheet to just keep track of it.
I get that, but
Yeah, but even then, I still
I think
don't
the
remember
point-
to tag them.
Yeah, I think the thing is that the higher up you go, the more you'd have to tag it to get it to go up, which does make sense in the idea that okay, and it's a thing. I do this in other games that don't have a tagging system. If you come up to me and say, "Oh yeah, I've decided to put 3 points in languages, and now I know 3 other languages," and you've never mentioned even trying to learn another language, I'm going to be like, "How the Hades did you learn 3 languages overnight?" Or so it's the point system is a way to allow you to show in game that there's a reason for why this is improving, and then the higher up you get, it should be harder to improve it, which is I think what it's the tag system goes towards, right, Brad?
Exactly.
So I like it in that right. I just am never going to be the person who sits there and goes, "Oh, you got 11 out of your 12 tags. Sorry, you can't tag that or you can't get that yet." Like, I don't know that I am as hard on it, but I do like the idea in game of saying stuff or having a reason and not just, and suddenly I know 5 new things that I didn't know yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Or even though I just rose this last game, I rose it again. Well, wait, how did you get, excrementally that much better?
Bottom line, there has to be a rule somewhere. How strict or loose you follow it is up to your individual table.
That.
And for the record, I have been following it legitimately as I'm going through with my advancements. I haven't found any issues with it because just every time I use the skill, I put a tag next to it.
I've also been using it, and that's why I haven't got any XP to spend at the moment.
I'm just rubbish, clearly.
Hey,
Because it's not so. As I said, it's not something that I've encountered in any other games that I've played in before. This is the first time I've encountered a skill tagging system, so it's not a natural thing to me.
I've encountered it in other ones. I have, like I said, even in D&D Pathfinder S1s that don't have it, I have we'll call it a more minor conceptual version of it, which is if you know you're wanting to pick up another language, then you say something in game about, "Oh, hey, you know that language. Could you teach me in your off time?" And then that way there's
sure. I mean,
a hang of a hat type of thing. Or
that's kind of how Joel runs.
But you haven't used that. I've never even seen your character use that in the last 3 months we've been playing, right? Why are you all of a sudden 3 times as high? And I'll ask for give me a reason why your character can get away with it. So if it makes it better and easier for you, you can use basically that type of system. Just give me a reason, and I'll probably go along with it. See? Don't worry about it. We're good.
Yeah.
You're at a table with a GM who's lazy and or chill. Pick. You decide.
With the party wanting more non-lethal ways to deal with things.
What? After you just won the debate?
Yeah. But, River will be nice, and we'll go and try to learn boxing from a place.
Accept victory graciously.
I just put it down to us now having Plan R, which we just all pull out guns and shoot whatever we need to shoot.
But learning boxing would be an easy one. You can find a boxing gym.
Or,
and,
or a street corner. Just go to a dark alley.
She would probably have to...
or go to a dark alley. No, see, a dark alley is where you get beat upon, not where you learn... Well, I guess you learn the hard.
Well, it gives you somebody to fight back.
Try a boxing gym.
It's why it's called the School of Hard Knocks.
Try a boxing gym.
Actually, she would probably have to go the street corner route, because, most of the gyms probably wouldn't let her in.
Why not?
You know, I think that given all the kind of magic and stuff that's flying around in today's world, I think people picking on people in alleys might want to be a bit more circumspect.
Why do you think that they wouldn't let you in?
Because misogyny.
And you have some of that, but you also have less of that. And just you go to one, just find a different one. At this
Oh,
point, you
yes.
might even be able to find one that's ran by women.
Categorically, we do have less of that in setting because, women have
Yes.
been kind of a big thing recently.
Yeah, it is a
And
thing still, but it is nowhere near as prevalent as it actually was historically.
And there were ladies who did teaching of self-defense to other ladies as part of the suffragette movement, which were definitely around at the time.
So up to you
Not-
on whether or not you want your character to have a black eye when you meet up again. One way, you start off with a black eye.
I mean, either way, she's probably gonna, because that's actually a good reason to raise a void blow too.
A void blow is always useful. I haven't actually had to use
A
it yet,
void
but
blow is a wonderfully useful thing.
I'm sure it
Wow,
will come
you
up
get
at
a
some
void
point.
blow. You
It's
have a
on
void
your-
blow.
It's on your
It's-
profession, but okay.
Yeah, it's not one of my profession skills. It's one of my free skills that I picked up because I wanted to not get hit with things.
Yeah, I haven't got a void blow yet. I know
Right?
it's an optional, but
I mean, if it's an
It says how
optional,
many
just
core
pick it up.
skills, not including the professional, do you need to advance to
I'm already
3?
working
Just
on it. Give me a second.
and I thought it was like all of them, but I'm not
It's
sure.
5. No, because you can have varying numbers of them. It's 5.
Okay, 5.
And you need to have those 5 skills at what, 3?
Yep.
At 3.
Yeah.
And then you need to get to get to 4, you need to get your professional skill and 6 other skills to 4, because you should be probably picking up a new professional skill every time you level, but it's fairly easy to get well ahead of that.
And
Not
then,
with
of
the
course,
second level, I think, right?
trying to find a place to train, I'll pick up Streetwise too.
See, I was under the impression that you just had the one professional skill and the rest were like core skills.
So you have one
Correct.
professional skill, and then you have core skills and optional skills from your profession.
Right, and those are the ones that need to be put up to whatever
Yeah.
level you're going to be at, right?
Yeah, core skills are you can spend karma on them, and they're the ones that matter for leveling. And optional skills are just useful and cheap if you're getting them from your profession.
Yes. So core skills are the only one that matter for leveling. So you need to have. I've got currently 4 core skills and 1 professional skill.
Well, as far
That's
as
you're at
the advancement is
2.
concerned, core
Yes,
and optional are
that
taken
is
together.
correct.
Then you should have probably picked up another core skill at that level to be progression.
As far as progression is concerned, core and optional are taken together because you can take either or. The main difference is just whether or not you can spend karma, which you can only spend on core. It's just free skills don't enter into your advancement.
Right. So basically, it's any of the core and optional skills. Basically, pick 4 of those on your professional skill, and they've all got to be at 3 for you to go with 3.
5 of those, and to get to 3.
Yes, so 4 of your skills and your professional skill.
No, professional skill and 5 others.
Right, so 6 skills total then.
Correct.
Right. Okay, professional and 5 others. Got it.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at upping, Mythra?
I was just. I don't know.
All of the things. Just say that. That's a good answer.
Yeah, all of the things. There's only 2 skills that I haven't actually added up that I have on my profession list. So I've obviously never used those on screen. and that's eidetic memory and forgery. So I probably wasn't
Both
going
of
to
which
touch
you
those.
could practice in your downtime.
Yeah, I could, but obviously they're not my priorities at the minute. So I've got 1, 2. I've currently got 3 at 3, not including my profession skill. So I need to get another couple up to 3, and then my profession skill up to 3 as well. So.
Right. I would like to do some magical theory research, not to increase it right now, but just to tag it. If that's okay.
Sure. Any other leveling, increasing APS questions?
Sort of related, just because of the way Morgana is being played and the background. As a standard aristocrat, I have equestrian as a core skill and melee weapons as an optional, both at first professional rank. I started with them. Would you be okay with me swapping them around for their designations, just because being able to spend Karma and melee would be more suitable for the way Morgana is played than looking after horses?
Sure.
Looking at
See, I'm reasonable. Now I'm going to say no to everything else for the rest of the day. Wahaha.
Can we not have 1 million AP?
Looking at my list, I should be able to find a spot where I can get one more tag in awareness. I can raise that up. That's a pretty easy one. Research is probably an easy one to get in a tag. So I could raise that. Would I be able to track somewhere where I could practice engine programming?
Or you could engine what?
Engine programming. So this is the steampunk
Engine program. Oh, right. Yes. I would think so. There's probably some small company that could use some help. You'd make an extra couple of bucks and practice on theirs because they can't afford a big name.
Yeah, that's fine. Just I can work as an intern
yeah.
for a day or two. That's fine. I just need to tag it.
Well, it might be something that if it helps your character that you use as kind of side practice, where you take on odds and ends jobs helping out smaller firms so that you know. But yeah, I don't see where that earn a couple of shillings on the side.
Okay, then I will do that for those 3. I think that will probably cover me for our downtime.
I was going to suggest Brad, the lady engine programmer who's involved in the jewellery job, who I believe we still had a job when we left, might be someone you could talk to of actual contacts we've made.
Oh yeah, I suppose I could do that. Just
because yeah, she's probably wanting to check everything after we uncovered large-scale fraud in the company.
That's actually a solid one too.
Makes sense. So yeah,
All right.
I'll go there.
And you should take Morgana so that she could meet that nice company owner again.
The only person Morgana thought was attractive in that building was the person who was the actual villain. She feels bad about that.
All right. Any other questions? Then after a sufficient little bit of a few days off, you guys are called back in to the office. Miss Price settles you in with some tea and, biscuits and other than mayhaps try to keep, I guess, maybe not quite on the company doorstep. Other than that, she, they ran into a bit of, a little bit of a situation. You, of course, remember James, the medium that the company uses?
Yes.
The crazy guy.
Is he really crazy if he can actually see spirits?
Yes.
Well, a bit of both. So, they hadn't heard from him, and they had sent a message on some other case, something they were looking into. And so she went and popped in, because usually he does answer when they, send a message. And James is not doing terribly well. As best she can figure out, he's seeing a group of spirits, and he's been unable to rest appropriately because of it. And as far as that, possibly crazy, even though you can see, lack of sleep is not helping the matter.
Understandable.
And she
He
feels
was
he's getting worse.
he was pretty bad when we last saw him. Is he worse than that?
Yes.
Oh
And
dear.
one, he's actually he's a nice man. He really is. And two, if he goes completely bonkers, not that she'll use that term, but if he does, he's not much of an asset to the firm. So, not that he's asked for the help, and not that he'll be expected to pay for said help, but he's obviously in need of some help.
Well, I mean, how can we help? We're not mediums.
Yes, well, theoretically speaking, if a spirit who is not at rest is given what it wants, most of the time, apparently, from what she understands from James, is it will then be able to cross over and be at rest.
Okay.
So it's not so much that I need you to deal with the spirits, it's that I need you to find out what they want so that they will
Leave
be
them
at
alone.
rest. Yes.
Right.
But, the little bits I could get from James. This is... let's call it touchy. She believes that the group of spirits are a group of young children that may have worked in a sweatshop and all died in said sweatshop.
Oh.
But she doesn't believe they all died at once. Like, this isn't like, and then there was a fire. And she thinks that the fact that there seems to be quite a few of them and that they're children is really upsetting James.
Hmm.
And making the whole situation worse.
Well, it's no secret that children do work occasionally.
No, that is not a secret. Or, well, yes, that is not a secret.
Anywhere in particular?
Well, apparently they're all in his house. But that is not where the sweatshop is. The thing is that she doesn't believe that it's necessarily any of the... you're correct. Children in this, out of character in this time period, totally did work in factories. But this isn't going to be a standard factory. You get too many deaths at one factory, especially even though the time period, but too many deaths of children in one factory, people start looking at you. To have this many dead children, this is going to be something not in a normal standard factory. This is going to be something that is happening in the basement of some place, or in what's supposed to be just a standard warehouse or something. This has got to be something fairly underground. Now, dangerous work being done by children, frowned upon but perfectly legal, and even not that frowned upon depending on who you ask. There aren't that many trades where you're keeping it hidden. where you're still doing manufacturing. But there are a few, and usually it's because you're undermining somebody else or because you can't afford a factory. So you're looking at a smaller business or a particularly nasty business.
So something that hires poor people and kids to do dangerous work.
Yeah. So, I mean, like
Okay.
mines, but there are not a lot of mines here in London.
Yes, although again, I was going to say, still probably got to narrow that down a bit.
Right.
The early 1900s were not, or the late 1800s, sorry, were not good to kids, poor people.
They were not. But people do care enough because eventually the laws are made. But you're seeing small changes in that type of stuff even in this time period, which is why it's not going to be a big corporation because they're not going to want the news story of, and then last month there was 12 dead kids. It's, right? So it's got to be something smaller
Well,
or
unless
more
they
dangerous.
are sufficiently developed to cover it up.
Right. And in that case, but nothing about this implies necessarily that. That's a good point. Yeah, you could cover it up.
Quick aside, what day are we going on? I had that we made our report to the lawyer on Wednesday the 6th.
Okay, so you guys probably had at least a week to 2 weeks down. You want 1 week down or 2 weeks down? Who had the most things that they moved that they would have needed time to learn?
Did anybody go up a
Well,
rank?
I did.
In their profession. Okay, so we would.
Okay, if you went up a rank, you need more time.
I would be happy with 2 weeks, to be honest, because I've got a lot to spend.
Right, because if in that 1 week you just went up, so if you did anything else on top of it, you're gonna have needed the 2. So let's do 2 weeks.
Okay, if we did 2 weeks, I'll probably have other things I'll advance, but that's fine. I can wait and do that later.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll do 2 weeks.
So then we're on Wednesday the 20th, if I'm doing the math right.
Yeah, that sounds right. So out of the character, I was trying to think about what all would be illegally made. That would be... And so a lot of drugs were legal. But there had to be chemicals and stuff that were not so legally just made, or at least not legally made in certain areas.
Radium?
Clearly for radium,
Yeah.
I think.
Lead poisoning. Like hat bands.
Sadly, though, that was pretty legal.
Yeah, that was.
I just didn't know it made people
for a
crazy.
While. That was legal up until like the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knockoff designer products. That's always been a thing.
Is the one that I could think of.
'Cause
That you
that's
would not
always
want
been
a
a
big
thing.
business. But the thing is that it was still very dangerous depending on what you were making because, like, have any of you seen old leather sewing machines from like this type of time period?
Yeah, they're fun.
Yep.
So I had custody of one for a very long time where you could sew plywood together. It would sew your hand into the plywood too. And without medical care would not be, would be a very easy way to get, infected and dead and things like that. So brainstorming ideas on things that, sorry?
I was gonna say, even like tanning process.
Tanning would be harder to hide because tanning smells.
Yeah, but if you did it where people are rendering and
That's true. Because rendering smells too. So at least I didn't miss something that I thought of, because basically knockoff products was what I was thinking. And that's what Mrs. Price is going to think too.
Or body trade.
So Mrs. Price is going to think knockoff products. And she also thinks that it has to be somewhere near James, because he doesn't leave the house much. So for the spirits to have found him, she doesn't think it can be horrendously far. Now, James doesn't live in the bestest of neighborhoods, but he doesn't live in the worst of neighborhoods either.
Well, distance is also relative once you take into consideration the astral.
And
That's
also
true.
the distance between bad neighborhoods and good neighborhoods is a lot shorter because your servants have to live somewhere.
Right.
I've got in a form that I will try and get images of at some point, a poverty map of London in the 1880s. And
that'd be cool.
Here is a hugely rich neighborhood, and literally like a block over, you're looking, and here is somewhere where it's essentially a poverty-ridden slum because people couldn't travel to work that far. It's a lot more intermixed than that. Yeah, it's not.
Not as clear.
Here's where all the poor people live. Here's where all the rich people live. It's much more mixed.
Right.
Here's something that you may not know. Opium's illegal.
Is opium illegal still? Or was it then? I didn't think it was illegal at that time period.
It was not until 1868.
Oh. Well, hell. I had known that. Oh, so no, it's totally, she believes that they're making opium then.
Opium dens?
She thinks that they're making opium.
Poppies. So we're looking for poppies.
Or taking the poppies and manufacturing it. Because the poppies could be being brought in, and then the kids are just having to make it into a packaged product to hand out.
Yeah, it's more likely that they're brought in dried because they grow in the Middle East a lot better than they would in England.
Yep.
Now, just to be clear, we're talking about straight opium here, right? I mean, laudanum is still fine.
That's one from chemists. That's perfectly reasonable. That's
exactly.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna go with opium, because if I had known opium was actually illegal, I thought it was still legal until into the 1900s. My bad.
No. Apparently, it was completely uncontrolled until 1868.
Like Chris was alluding to, it's legal for uses in making other materials, but as straight opium, yeah, that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But people liked it as just straight opium.
Yeah, well, and of course, there's a lot of under the table trading for it.
Mm-hmm. But that's the amount of secrecy, and it doesn't have to be a huge area in which to work on this. And it leaves open some questions that you guys might have for James on how exactly are these kids dying. But Price apparently is aware. From what she could get out of him, she believes that it's some sort of opium manufacturing.
Right.
But she hasn't gotten much out of him other than that.
So basically speaking, we're going to go ask James how these kids are dying, and if the answer is really, really high, it's opium.
There's other reasons to believe it was opium, but yes. But there's other reasons for the kids to die in the opium trade. They get hooked on it, they get caught stealing, they sneak some out to sell it to maybe better themselves. The person who's in charge of them is getting high and just does bad, evil stuff. Yeah.
They look like they might get old enough to look for other careers.
They overdose.
And someone doesn't want them spreading the secret. There's all sorts.
Yeah. The kids are overdosing because it's not as controlled and they breathed in too much. And some of these are much younger children. I get to understand these places, if the child was even 3 or 4 years old, they could be forced to work. Imagine any 3, 4-year-old you've ever met trying to not inhale opium. See how well that goes.
It's not like they provided masks or anything.
Exactly. One second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so to be candid, guys, basically it's still legal to sell it as part of medicines or over the counter in a chemist's or something like that. And it wasn't not legal to do that anymore until like 1916. But in 1908, a law was passed that required pharmacists to record the names of people that they sold it to.
And of course, the pharmacists always followed the law.
Of course, 100%. Always nice when you get a little history lesson with your gaming.
Oh, we get a lot of history lessons with this game.
There was a reason why John Smith was a very common name.
Just flashing back to playing through Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and just grabbing laudanum from basically everywhere. Man, you must have been going through that castle really, really high. No wonder you were seeing stuff.
I do. One of the joys in 1879 is the amount of times I've had to just go, okay, quick, let's go and look this. Look this up, because I'm checking dinosaurs, for example. Right, back in a moment.
Yeah, the amount of stuff that I've had to look up for this game would get me on so many lists.
Not really. Because, I mean, you put a time frame on it.
Yeah, but the time frame isn't relevant to when I'm looking up stuff like how big of an explosion would it take to wipe out Midway Airport?
Yeah, probably about 40 tons.
I had to figure that out, or just figuring out explosion radius, which I actually found a website that will, you put in the size of the explosion and it just draws it on a map for how big the destruction area is, which is pretty nifty. But yeah, just stuff that I found. I had to do that because I had to figure out how much destruction a explosive Samsung battery would cause.
Yeah, that is pretty nifty, Brad. I imagine the FBI is watching that website very closely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What website?
There's a website you can use to figure out, like, basically what it is you put in the size of an explosion, and it draws on a map and shows you how big the destructive area would be.
Ooh, fun.
I had to do that for one of our subset scenarios for Gen Con, because there's this massive battery that they were going to recover, and there's the potential for the battery to overload. And Andrew had written it originally, and the description he had given with the time frame they would have had before the battery exploded and the size of the explosion he had written, they could have just outrun it. And I'm like, no, this can't be how it works. So I figured out the energy density of the batteries based off of their handheld tools, and I extrapolated that to the size of the big battery that we're dealing with, which was about the size of a large garbage can. And yeah,
That's pretty big explosive.
Oh yeah, the energy density of the Samsung batteries is massive. So yeah, it's a big enough explosion that it would completely obliterate Midway Airport.
Yeah, try outrunning that.
Yeah. Party and get her outrun that in 3 rounds.
Well, only on Law and Order. Only in TV land. All right. So let's see. So yeah, because of whatever he did say, she's pretty sure it's an opium processing, really. And other than that, and she doesn't think it can be far because he doesn't go out much, but it's also, so these dead children would have had to have found him, but she does believe that it's not like it's next door, because in case you hadn't noticed, James apparently has enough potential that spirits are naturally somewhat drawn to him. So
Gondor
you can
calls
see where
for
it's
it.
a bit.
The beacons have been lit. Gondor calls for aid.
Sorry, River, what was that?
The beacons have been lit. Gondor calls for aid.
You just keep breaking up on my end.
Oh.
Sorry, man. The timing of the joke is gone.
No, it's not. I wanted to hear the joke. Could you hear her?
I could. It was a Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh. I like Lord of the Rings.
Well, I'm afraid that River is just going to have to wait for the next opportune moment to say it.
Figures.
Hey, I typed it out for you.
Oh. Yes. And that is a good reference and a good joke. Thank you. Sorry that it didn't, stupid machines. All right.
Yeah.
The problem with being online and not at a real tables. The perk is that we have people from, England and UK and. All right. But obviously Miss Price is actually very concerned about your friend James the Medium.
Well, I mean, I
And
don't know if I would use the word friend exactly.
Well, her friend then. She's very concerned about him, and she says not to worry about the bill. The company will be paying it for him. So don't worry that you're not going to get paid. You will definitely be paid for your time. But she'd really like you to look into this and see if something can be done.
Well, all right then. We can do that. Can we? Yes.
Because yes, you're not being asked to actually put the spirits to rest. You're being asked to stop the situation, which should put the spirits to rest. So, where would you guys like to start?
Give us a moment. We're still working out Mythras' adventure point spending, so
If we still need a minute for that, we can take the minute for that. That's okay.
I've just spat my dummy out. Don't mind me.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the reason that I had to pause for a second is I may have to break a little earlier in the session at the end of the session because apparently I have to get parts. Even though I'm very, very sure these all the things I need to provide so that the sink will be put in. would you believe there was a miscalculation? And it is not all the parts I need to have the sink and faucet put in.
Let
Can't
me
believe
guess.
it.
No plumber's putty, no plumber's tape, no
No
caulk.
useful things. There's the problem has come about that there is a conversion thing needed for the new sink and the garbage disposal. So
Gotta get a new Y
Yay.
junction for it.
that part I'm not exactly sure of, but probably something like that. I did not go downstairs to look. I just got told, well, there's a problem.
Well, the sink can
We
still
need
be
a
installed, and then you just
but then it will be a week before the other, and I'm like, before I have a garbage disposal, and I'm like, or hear me out. Next time I say, hey, make sure that this is everything you need. But, however,
Well.
at the same time, I'm not paying a huge amount of money to have it put in, so we will instead be happy and thankful, and we will just go and buy whatever piece we need. So, all the fun.
Andy, do you have a problem with August putting up his eidetic memory, his firearms, his research, his first impression?
No?
Because while he hasn't specifically used eidetic memory, there's been stuff we've been trying to remember.
He could have used it or practiced it on his own time. Like maybe August was memorizing poems.
Trashy romance
Sonnets,
novels. Trashy romance novels.
August seems like a romantic type. Trashy romance novels, of course. Obviously, trashy romance novels. Because that's what people should memorize, right?
Exactly. Especially
Surely
if
it's
you use
Penny
them for your
Dreadfuls.
cipher key. Especially if you use them as your cipher key.
Yes. Because nobody thinks to use those for a cipher. Makes it very useful. No one will ever think to use that. Look at that.
All right. So we need to figure out where this is happening and put a stop to it.
Yep. As far as another fun one, right? I would like to know: are we now claiming that dead children are not fun stories? Because if so, I should have been warned that was not supposedly a fun story. So I just
Interesting
assumed.
stories. I was putting that as a point from in character.
Oh, the characters don't think that they're fun stories. What? Everybody likes dead children.
Morgana's going to be inventing trauma counselling at some point in this campaign.
And then the game is ended because all of the characters had PTSD and retired. Said, nope, we're out. Not another, oh my god, what the fuck. No.
Oh, River wouldn't have PTSD. She would just be in prison.
River solution, not PTSD. Revenge. Revenge is a valid coping skill.
There's a quote that I put in the Fort Alice source book. When the enemy has the potential to be anywhere, the best solution is to shoot everywhere.
I'm pretty sure the military's used that before. That seems very...
Well, that's their justification for using the big, Maxim guns to shoot all the Samson air chariots and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Well, they're not technically wrong.
So, I guess the first order of business is finding where where they are. See if we can get into, be suppliers or be supplied.
Well, can we hear
For the
any
first order of
information
business?
directly from James, or is he like out of commission at this point?
You're welcome to go there. She believes that sometimes he's a little more lucid than others, but she is warning you that he's not as lucid as last time you spoke to him, probably.
I would say we should probably start there, regardless of whether or not we talk to him. If nothing else, start where things are happening and we can trace things back from there.
Not a bad idea.
I feel like it's a valid one.
Damn. The first thermos was in 1892.
The first what?
Thermos.
Oh. Well, I mean, you've only got well, honestly, with magic and all that, you might find that thermoses showed up early.
Well, given weird science, thermoses definitely fall into the category, right?
I would think so. They might not be cheap, but you could get a thermos, I would think.
What, are you trying to capture a ghost in one?
No, she probably just wants coffee to take with. Or tea.
Chamomile tea for
James. Is River's sweet like that? All right, so you guys ready to go to visit James?
Sure.
Sure.
Let's go and visit the guy. He might be lucid, he might not be lucid, but we'll make the best of whatever we find.
It'll be an adventure either way.
There might be just ghosts everywhere, because we love that. We love
You
them
guys are
ghosts.
fond of ghosts. Hey, you should try shooting at them. It worked on Faye.
Considering how this went last time, is there any chance I could pick up a hard hat or a helmet or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
Way
it's not
over,
bad.
we get hard hats.
I've studied civil engineering. I should know where to find them.
True. You can totally get a hard hat. I don't know if everybody wants a hard hat, but they can all have hard hats too.
I mean, it is. I believe it's an investment around James.
It'll be in your ghost kit.
Except for those don't exist until 1919.
Hard hats don't exist until 1919.
Oh, some sort of helmet would exist.
Minor
Sure.
helmet.
Yeah, like you may not get the plastic hard hats.
So it was the hard-boiled hat made of stained canvas glue and black paint.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that's 1919.
That won't do.
We don't. Hey.
No, they have
apparently
miners'
globally
caps.
do not care about workers.
They have miners' helmets.
Well, I believe you.
His helmets. You know, the safari hats.
Do you see any big game hunters around here?
You go to the right places, tons, yeah.
You know, if you go to the posh areas, there's probably one living there somewhere.
Probably. But I'm just saying we don't have one here. All we have is an explorer. And they don't wear hard hats for some reason.
But I like the feel of the sun.
Yes, that's the reason.
Totally.
Not because you're happy-go-lucky, unafraid. All right. Anybody need anything other than hard hat and chamomile tea?
No, we'll be fine.
Always worked out that way in the past.
Damn right.
All right. You guys all know where James lives. You've been there before. Nothing hard there. There is a ruckus. And it is such a loud ruckus, I'm not making you roll perception or any such things. Coming from inside James's house, apartment, flat, however you want to call it.
Yep. Seems legit.
Seems like James's place.
Yep. So who's
What
feeling
do you-
brave?
Who's feeling brave?
I will try
Well,
the
I
door.
think the Major should go first.
Sorry, what was that, August?
I think the Major should go first.
Oh yeah?
Because I have no idea what you can do.
Surely you can do some sort of magical shield.
I will try the door.
It is unlocked.
Carefully draw revolver and open the door.
Well, the inside, which was... Well, actually, the first part you went into where he does his, open, let me look into your future part, was actually pretty clean and all that the last time you were in that area, right? I don't think that it got cluttered, and it wasn't even badly cluttered until you were in the back, right? Right now, It looks like, well, either you let loose a whole bunch of demonic children, or somebody's had a fight. But things are thrown all over the place. Their furniture is upended. It's pretty messy right now.
It's been ransacked.
Which isn't a good look for, bringing in customers.
Hello,
And you can definitely hear a
James?
commotion still in the back. You do not see James here. You can hear him, though. Maybe not make out the exact words unless you want to roll a perception check. But you can definitely hear his voice.
Okay. This is fine.
Still fine.
Yeah, I'm calling out for James.
I'm going to go ahead and throw an awareness for trying to listen for him, at least see if I can determine the tone in which he's speaking. I got a 9. I can throw Karma still.
Yes, awareness would be a good thing to roll. I will roll awareness. I'll roll it right now.
All right.
I got
You do that.
I will.
I got 14.
You watch me.
14. Have a 9
You have
and
to
a
put
14.
your camera on.
Well, I doubt I'm going to be at 14 unless I'm really lucky, but we'll see. It may happen. You never know.
And
Oh,
guess
you
what?
fancy folk
Guess
who have
what?
awareness.
If you roll it, you can
What?
tag it.
That's right. I got a 5.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You got a 5?
Yeah, I'll still forget.
You fancy folk and you're having the awareness skill.
That's right.
All right. So I've got a 14, a 9, and a 5.
Hang on.
Anybody else?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just adding things up.
That's okay.
That's a good sign.
So that I can roll it.
Oh. That's a bad sign.
Well, no, because
Your
I put it
signs got
up. But
less.
I just. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Dice, come on.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, because I haven't got a D10 in this blooming dice bag. God damn it.
How do you not have a D10 in your blooming dice bag? And why
'Cause
is
I
your
was-
dice bag blooming?
Because it's spring.
Oh, good,
We're
good.
aware of
That's
language-
that's solid.
Because
It's
we're aware
spring,
of
isn't
UK's
it?
language rules.
Just I was messing around with my dice bags and didn't realise there was no D10s in this one.
Can we bring your D10 up through?
No, I've got a different one. Should be a D10 in this one. There we go. D10.
I'd offer to let you go play in my new Mimic dice box. There are D10s in there, I
I
promise.
love those things. They're
That's a
great.
Oh, no. Have you seen it?
No,
Go to
but
the outside. Go to the outside channel. You have to see the
It does
thing.
look-
It is amazing and huge.
It does look awesome.
Yeah, it's
14.
gotta be like 14. Oh, some really good rolls. I think it's like what, almost 2 foot wide. Like I'll have to take a measuring stick to it, but it's
it's pretty great
uh,
anyway.
It's pretty great, yeah. I'm in the midst of trying to figure out a name for it because, we're gamers and we name everything. All right. The 14s definitely can hear pretty much word for word what James is saying. That Brad, on your 9, I don't know that Nigel wants to throw more karma at it because he can make out most of the words, so he gets a good general gist. Basically, James is apparently arguing with. Do you remember the one spirit from the last time who dumped the tea? And I believe Waymont's lap.
Yeah, I remember.
I think his name was Mark or something. Wasn't it Mark?
I believe his name was Dick, actually.
Richard.
It was Richard. It was Richard. Yes.
Richard.
I guess his name was Richard. We'll make a note of it just so that we don't forget. I put that in the wrong area. That's okay. So, okay. Basically, it's no, Richard. If I could make them stop, I would. No, I don't know why they did that. Would you stop yelling at me? Well, of course I'm yelling at you. I have to yell at you so you can hear me over them. And it's obviously the majority of it seems to be him yelling at Richard and at them. There's a couple that he does seem to have names for. So you're also going to get the names Sarah, Annie, and Robert, otherwise Bobby. And you're not totally sure if Robert and Bobby are the same or if they are separate. You have the feeling they're the same, just two names for the same. And whoever Sarah is being asked mostly to get the little ones to quit crying. All right. So that's what you know is coming from farther in the back or is he upstairs? No, he's further in the back because it's a flat. There you go.
I guess we go into the back. Seem reasonable to everyone.
Morgana will call ahead. James, just to warn you, you've got living visitors. Yeah, just so we don't shock him and surprise him and cause even more chaos.
Yeah, we're just in the living room.
The parlor.
Nope. I stand by what I said.
Sorry, what was that? I got distracted.
We're discussing parlor versus living room.
A parlor is a fancy living room versus den. So you have like parlor, living room, and then living room, den.
I believe the insistence on living room is more to refer to we're alive.
Yeah.
It's a pun. It's a pun or play on words.
It's a punny. It's punny. You know what? That's what James needs. You guys should figure out some way, find somebody who can figure out some way to create a room where only the living are allowed to be and are allowed to have noise come into. That's what James needs. You need a quiet room. Or a living quiet room.
Yes, that is what we need.
Yeah.
Ward versus spirits, done. Not that I have the expertise to work that one out, but...
Hey, we could try, like, salting his bedroom.
Let's not do that. Let's not just charge in and throw salt all over the place. How about that?
I like that idea. I do. But I want you to have Weymont be the one who does it and see what Richard does to him. Because Richard is much like a cat in the fact that he does not believe that he should be shut out of anything.
I don't know that a salt square would work. Oh, hey, we could just circle his bed with salt.
I made a doodle. I don't know if anyone can see it.
I do see it.
And
I really like it.
One of
You
you
what?
managed to create a magical shield.
Because, you know, depending on the day, that's about what James looks like. So. Oh, great and glorious. James is arguing with Richard about the children, apparently. In the back. And you guys are heading into the back then?
Yeah, after shouting out to warn him that we're coming, just so we don't have a shock medium.
Yeah, we probably don't just want to turn up there with all the ghosts.
So you get back there, and there is paper kind of floating around, and there seems to be something like trying to snatch the papers and knocking the papers to the ground, which at this point you get is that Richard is taking the paper from the children who may be running around the room with the paper. And there does seem to be certain amounts of colory, pen, ink, crayon marks. I guess really crayons don't exist, but like ink marks on the walls, whereas like some ill-behaved child has colored on his walls.
So,
if you'll just stop taking their papers, maybe they'll play with the paper and it will be quieter. Oh.
Hey,
sorry.
Hello,
I forgot
James.
we had an appointment.
So how are things?
James looks a little, one, shocked, two, overly tired, and bordering on slightly paranoid. So a lot like that picture, just without the blanket.
So, from your reaction, I'm guessing not the best. Would that be fair to say that?
I forgot we had an appointment. I'm sorry. Where are we going?
We didn't
didn't.
have an appointment. We just came to check and make sure you weren't dead yet.
And offer our assistance.
Am I
you know.
dead? Did I
No.
die? I'm
Not
never going
yet.
to escape this if I've died. You'll
No,
avenge
you're-
me, won't you?
I mean, sure.
Oh, good.
Once you're dead, which you're not.
Oh,
To be clear.
that's also good. Good.
We're having this
Yes, that's good.
conversation. That's a sure sign you're alive.
Is it
Yes.
though?
Well,
Is
I'm
it
not a
really?
medium. I'm not a medium, probably.
Wait, if a medium dies, they can they not speak to the living?
I believe that would be an ecumenical matter. Probably.
That is uncharted territory.
And then the egg again. Could you please just stop chasing them, Richard?
May I? Holding out my hands for the paper and see if James will hand them to me.
Well, James doesn't, but someone handed paper to you.
I sit down on the floor. I gather up pins and whatnot and sit down on the floor. Children, come around. Let's sit here and draw and write. Do you know your letters and numbers?
I was
A lot
unaware
of the
that one
papers have like fallen that are just loose, floating around, kind of fall. And well, no, Richard, why would I have thought of that?
I didn't know she could do
So
that.
apparently it seems to be
you
working.
guys, Did you guys know that she could do that?
What? Sit on the floor?
No. Corral ghost children.
New skill, corral ghost children. It's
Well-
very specific.
Well, we already knew
Very
you could
specific skill.
We already knew River could talk to wild animals.
Oh,
Ghost children are like wild animals. That's actually very true.
shots fired.
Children in general are, so
Exactly.
She has conversations with dogs. Who knows?
James kind of flops into a chair. I didn't miss an appointment. Yeah. Oh.
You did not. No, we've
Well-
been sent to check in and assist you because you're clearly having a difficult time.
A very difficult time.
Uh,
Like, jeez, man.
What?
well, I wouldn't have minded having a child, but there are reasons that it hasn't worked out so well. But now I know I don't want a dozen of them, ever.
That just seems
Ever.
wise.
Yeah, I can't say I can probably sympathize with you there. Yes.
Ever.
Yep. Never gonna even consider having 12 children.
And
Would you have
they've never been this quiet.
Get down.
They got here. Nice.
So,
Richard, she can't move in.
so putting that aside for now,
yes, it'd be nice if the children moved out.
super great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Children, can you each draw me something that makes you happy?
So where are all these ghosts from then?
Apparently, they were helping. I make something. Miss Price thinks opium, but to be honest, I don't really know how it's processed. So she seemed more knowledgeable, and so I believe her.
Okay.
But I
But
guess
do you?
it's They died.
Well, yes, but do you know
Opium.
where they died? Do they know where they
Oh.
died?
They're all at once, and I can't seem to get them to just one of you speak, so that maybe I could figure something out.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not great. Not gonna lie. We'll need to find out where they died so that we can resolve whatever issues they have and get them out of your clearly raised hair.
I know this. And he walks over to a wall, of which he scooches a chair. And on the wall, there's a child's drawing on the wall
Mhm.
of what crudely looks like a big, mean troll. And when you look at the, I guess, children that are on for children, there's little people. He will tell you that this is some of the children.
Okay, it booted me for a second.
Okay.
So they're specifically larger. Like, so is it just that it's super large because it's a troll, or is it super large because it's a very big troll? And
Weymont
then
will.
he'll.
Or
Go
is
ahead.
it, from the child's perspective?
Yeah, Weymont will examine the drawing of the troll and go, "Wow, I had no idea that kids were so racist." Oh well.
Yes, there's that. And then he will scooch another piece of furniture over, and there's a building. And it seems to be 3 stories. It
Mhm.
seems to, from the front, have stairs going to the front door, which seems to be a double door. And the only reason you know that is because it has like a line in the middle. Because that's how double doors are presented by children, is you draw a box and you put a line in the middle.
Yep.
And the child has scribbled out all of the windows. So it's like they drew windows, but then they took the crayon marker, well, not marker, pen, whatever, and scratched over it.
Boarded up windows?
Or covered, boarded up, something like that, yeah. Most likely. That's, good interpretation.
Is there anything outside of the building, or are they just drawing a house?
It's a building, but it's just because children, they tend to do the front perspective. They don't, but it's 3 stories with a double door and something covering the windows.
Okay. Unfortunately, that doesn't narrow it down too much. It kind of describes about half the buildings in London and down the West End at the moment.
While this is going on, I'd like to pop an astral sight on the spirits of the children. 1, to try and get a look at them and see if I can make any connections, but 2, also kind of just taking a look at their general aura.
Okay. I'll get back to you on that really quick. There's
like
one other drawing that he'll point out on the walls.
Okay.
And basically, he will point at this drawing of a woman, which it's a girl because it seems to have the triangle bottom half dress skirt, which for the longest time seems to denote female.
Yep.
That's the bad mommy. apparently she's supposed to be a good mommy, and she takes them to, and he points at the troll.
Aha. That's not good. This must be some kind of...
Orphanage?
Could be, or we could have some sort of child catcher situation.
Which was
Going on.
also highly not uncommon, because there was a lot of street urchins, and sometimes if you needed people for your sweatshop, they did just take them off the streets sometimes.
But offering them
But
as a manner of shelter.
the fact that it's a woman who's doing it, if that's what's happening, is particularly uncommon and bad. Women don't usually take children. Like, this is such a thing that they actually tell people that if your child gets separated, you should tell them to find a woman. Women are less likely to be kidnappers, to take the children. They're less likely to do harm to the children, and are more likely to help the child find a appropriate adult or the correct adult. So if we train children to go to women, it's because it's super unlikely that women are the ones who do these things. Not that it doesn't happen, just unlikely. So, that you have no idea. Like, she doesn't have big horns on her head, so she doesn't seem to be a troll, but you're not sure if that means she's an orc or a human.
Probably not an elf. If she was an elf, she'd probably have the big pointy ears. I can imagine kids doing that.
Yeah. But so orc or human is most likely. And he says that that's about what he knows. But they're just so loud. Oh.
So if they're loud, what are they saying?
I don't even know. Bad lady and the bad mommy, and he's a monster, but and they're cold and they're hungry and they're tired and they just want to go home. They want their real mommy or daddy, or they don't want to be cold anymore. But I don't
Right.
know. Like, are they cold because they're dead? Or are they cold because they're cold? And some of them don't even know they're dead, and then they cry even louder.
That's not good.
Brad. So you get general kind of shapes. They aren't well formed, like, definitely not even a photograph or even a blurry photograph.
Mhm.
And this could be simply because they're so young, they don't have a good sense of self to hold an image of themselves, or just because because ghosts are weird. What do you want?
Yep. Well, I'm not a medium, so I'm kind of coming.
And you're not a
into it
medium.
untrained eye.
And there's a bigger, much more clear spirit, it's probably Richard, who's, for all, you feel like he's sulking in the corner. I mean, it's not really easy to see his exact look, but it's definitely the impression that he's sulking in the corner.
It's a pretty sulky
The
spirit.
children seem to be coloring. Some of them are actually coloring on paper with pen around river. Some of them are coloring, but there doesn't seem to be any paper or pen, at least that is a physical item. But they all seem to be there's a few larger ones, which your guess is going to be that they might be Sarah, Annie, and Robert. And those three are actually kind of in the other room talking at each other. At least that's the impression you have of them. At the same time, there are other spirits actually very much loose in this area, but they're not really involved or interacting with this monstrosity. Um,
Well,
what
James,
else can I answer about them for you?
this is certainly quite the
kinda
pickle.
Generally looking at their aura, do I get like feels of emotions? Are they confused? Anything that I might be able to latch onto to try and get a hold,
The
get a
little ones
direction.
are mostly interested in they're wanting some sort of connection themselves, and right now they're latched onto the fact that they believe that River is talking to them, because she kind of is. How well that's going to work and for how long when they realize that River can't hear them is a whole other side note. The other three, those three are much more interesting to me, because the three larger children seem to be frustrated. And during all this, while you're kind of in the background, you can hear everything that's going on. At some point, they kind of all like turn, and it's creepy because it's like they ran at you, but you didn't see them run at you. They were just there, they turned, and then they're all of a sudden just like right around you. And you can feel like your arm, like the sleeve of your arm being pulled on. And you can feel yourself being kind of jostled by these three kids that are surrounding you.
This was the larger ones or the little ones?
The three larger ones. The three larger ones that seem to have been talking to each other and this feeling of frustration have now surrounded you.
Okay. I will motion over to James. Can you interpret for me, please? Because I'm sure he can see what's going on.
And he wakes up because he actually kind of halfway fallen asleep while talking. Wait. Oh. What, Robert? Yes, They do want to know where you were. Yes? You think you could... Good. Show him. That would be fabulous. He wants to show you.
How is he going to do that?
He wants you
I
to
take
follow him.
They're going to take us to where they were?
Robert wants to take you, but it's not going to work. It never works. Never works.
Why doesn't it work? They lose the ability to hold on to us after a certain amount of time?
Well, because if those three leave, the other ones will freak out. And so they won't leave the little ones, but the little ones won't want to go back because it's scary and bad there.
Could one of the
Around
three
you?
leave? And the other two
I don't
remain?
know. I don't actually know. River, around you, the papers are starting to... The few papers that are near you that you can see that were actually being drawn on are starting to, like, one's getting crumpled and actually was thrown at your head. You can dodge it easily, but it was, like, crumpled and thrown at you. And you can tell you're losing them. You're not necessarily sure why you're losing them, but you can tell. And James is just like, because she can't hear you. No, she can't.
James. Oh, James. Just shut up.
I'm sorry, children. My hearing's not what it used to be. I know my ears are big, but they don't work right.
Sarah, don't tell them that she's a liar. That's not helping. Richard, encouraging Sarah to tell them that they're a liar. Don't help Richard. Because apparently now Richard's telling them that, yes, she can't hear you at all, because no one can because they're dead. Which has started a whole new argument with Richard. And the chaos in the room has just amped up by 10 because apparently, again, a lot of the littler ones don't know that they're dead. And Richard is so fucking not a help.
Okay, little ones.
Richard, if
little
I could
ones.
find some way to send you over, I would by now. How do you like that? Yes, I would. No, I don't want you living here. You can move on whenever you'd like. Now
Dang.
something goes flying at James's head, and it does not seem that it... Because it came from a height where you don't think it was a child who sent it throwing.
Little ones. I have a lovely game to play. Have you ever played hide and seek? Yeah. I remember I can't hear well. So do you know your letters? Do you know Y and N? And I will draw a Y and then an N, and I go touch the Y. Circle this one if you've played hide and seek. Circle this one if you haven't.
And Ouija boards. Yes, Ouija boards.
But don't you do it.
Now River has discovered and created the first initial Ouija board.
No, they've actually been around for
I know.
They were in.
It's just funnier this way.
We know, and I'm still saying, don't you do it.
Ouija boards were made in.
And the first one you get,
but yeah, I could totally
you need
see
to
one
give.
being around longer.
Well, there were other ways like pendulums and things like that, but the first Ouija board is now given to Weymont, so that he can have connections with, I don't know, but Richard probably.
Why?
Because apparently James is very angry with Richard right now. Okay.
All right. Right, Richard. Can you communicate with me with this board that I have?
Because you wanted to talk to Richard so much.
Oh yeah. Just
Richard, who keeps telling the little kids that they're dead because that's helpful.
Just
Richard
peachy
is,
keen, this guy.
Helpful. Richard is helpful. All right. Generally, what you get back from James is that James hasn't tried. They've all been together the entire time that they've been here. And that anytime the other three try to take him, just try at least find a place, maybe, the little ones get upset, and then they won't leave the little ones, and the little ones don't want to go back to the bad man.
Yeah, totally understandable. Okay. So do the older ones, do they know where they're from? Like, because I expect the little ones wouldn't have much memory of it, but do the older ones know roughly where the bad man is?
And James just looks so tired. So depleted and so tired right now.
I mean, look at James. He's not doing great.
No, but yes, but no. They get a little confused on, like, where were they before, but where was the bad man, and...
So are you saying that the bad man was in a different place to where you were before?
It's gotta be. Well, I mean, they were someone before they lived with the bad man.
Right. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the bad man then. Where is the bad man then?
Bobby's the oldest, and I've tried, and the best I can get is 4 to 6 blocks and roughly east of here. But how accurate? Saying he's accurate, 4 to 6 blocks and east of here. Still a lot of ground to cover.
Yep. Doesn't narrow it down too much, but at least it's something, right?
Well, in all truth, you had more than Miss Price had. 4 to 6 blocks radius. If you assume east being half of that circle, right? And that's a 3-story building with a double door and blacked out, boarded up, something windows.
Yeah.
That actually is something.
Yeah, we could scout around. I don't know. Maybe we could get our explorer to do some exploring.
Your explorer might actually be good at these things. Speaking of which, you actually get some circles, not all of them. Some of the kids circle, some of them aren't as good at physically moving things on purpose. They can move things out of high emotion, they just don't seem to be able to move it on purpose. And the room is quieted back down a bit, and except for the new argument between Richard and James, which is maybe if Richard would stop antagonizing the children, he could sleep. Because all James really wants right now is to sleep. And he's still not sure if just Bobby, because he's never tried to just get Bobby to go. Because it's the time that he had attempted was early on, apparently, as far as you can tell. And all 3 of the older ones, Sarah, Annie, and Robert, Bobby. But that didn't work well.
Okay. All right. So, children, just so everyone knows, I'm gonna have you guys hide, and I'm gonna sit here, and I'm gonna count to 20, and then I will try to find you, or even better, Richard will try to find you. So hide really well. Be very quiet. Okay.
I need you to like Dex. Yeah, you need, or uncanny dodge if you have it. I love it, out of character. I love it, but you need to dodge. Them 5 Ds of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dive, whatever. Yeah.
Dodge,
duck,
dip, dive, and dodge. Yeah.
Yeah. River, you need to dodge.
I take it Richard's throwing something at her.
Oh God,
And
yeah.
rightly so, frankly.
Hey.
You made Weymont be on Richard's side. That's awesome. That's worth some extra XP too.
Just keep the little ones occupied. We need the big ones.
I got a 5.
Take about 3 points of damage as a book whaps you in the face.
You know,
It's just enough to smart.
hate to say it, but I think you probably deserved that.
Yeah. You know, I'm not terribly concerned.
I'm glad. I really am. Anyway, so you think maybe you could go out and, I don't know, scout around for a building that looks like that?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Well, if we can keep the little ones occupied, we might
Good.
be able to have one of the older ones come off with us.
I mean, the rest of us aren't official explorers or anything, but I'm fairly certain we can help out, right, guy? Right, everyone? Yes?
I mean, if the little ones are occupied, we can probably have one of the older spirits come with us. And just show
Not a bad
us where to go.
idea.
You can see if you can get Bobby or one of the two older girls to go with. The other thing that I shouldn't mention, but because I'm sure she's already thought of it, is River speaks to animals who might also know the area, which might help limit it down. Or help to cover more ground. Either way.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do.
So,
let's
who's
do the
going to
Ouija
try to
board.
talk to the spirits and see if they can try to convince one of them to go out with you?
Morgana will give it a go if James is willing to act as intermediary.
In the lull, James fell back asleep.
Oh.
You can absolutely wake him up.
I will wake him up gently.
It's poor man.
He
I
just
tried to help
looks
you, James.
he looks so tired. Wait, did we have an appointment?
No, we just need you to help us talk to the children so we can convince one of them to...
Oh, no, they talk all the time. I'd really rather not talk to them. Oh, wait, we have to talk to them.
Yes, we do.
They never shut up. Did you know that ghost children don't need sleep? Ever, apparently.
Oh no, I get it.
I did not know that. Now I do. Thank you.
This is fantastic. Just super, in fact.
He just kind of looks at you and with the saddest sounding self. I need sleep, though.
Yes.
We're working on it.
Yes, you do.
What did you want again?
I want to ask one of the older children, or the older children, if one of them could show us, help us find the factory they were in.
Oh,
And while the other two, the others look after the younger children.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do.
Yes,
So he's
well,
kind of centers himself, and he's obviously trying hard to focus. Go ahead. Yes, Morgana.
Give me a second, just to
Okay.
work out how. We'll start with hello. We're trying to help you and all the other children get to your proper home, but to do that, we need to find out where the bad place was. She will point at the picture. Could one of you come with us and show us where that is, while the rest of you are looking after the children, please? It would make our job a lot easier.
Yes, but no. But could you just stop fighting, please? He looks very flustered and angry and agitated and frustrated. Robert and Sarah want to go. Annie doesn't want to be left alone with the kids. Sarah wants to know why she always has to help with the little ones. And Robert has decided that because she's a girl and she's good at it. And apparently Sarah says that he might be better at it if he tried. And anybody who's ever dealt with that about 4th, 5th grade child. So if you're not school, or so it would be
Well, Sarah, since you seem to be the
7, 8,
most
9, 10.
sensible one.
10 to 12-year-old child, that argument
Oh.
over, no, you watch the little ones, or I never get to get out of the house type of thing. That argument, that is apparently what has happened.
Well, Sarah, why don't you show us, and Robert can stay here just in case someone needs to protect all the children.
No, he didn't just say that so that Robert would be quiet. He honestly does believe that Robert's a good protector. Because, goddammit, James is trying. Richard, shut up! And you actually see James, which you've never seen him actually do this before, because James fully, well, sanely, when he's sane, knows that this does no damn good. Throws something in the general direction of apparently where Richard is. Because, well, James is very tired and has had it and is losing it and stuff. So, okay, yes, Sarah's going to try to show you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
No, Annie, you're staying here and helping Robert with the little ones. Yes, Richard, you still have to play hide and seek. Why? Because if I go insane, who are you going to talk to?
You know, Richard, there are other mediums in the city.
Literally, James has jumped up, which you don't know where he found the energy to jump up, and points at you and goes, that, Richard. Okay, Weymont?
Yeah.
Need that, Dex, or, what is that? The
Avoid
dodge? Avoid blow?
But yeah, sure, I can do that.
Uh-huh. Thank God you don't have a cup of tea.
I don't know why he's getting on to me.
Well, see, now you're the one deserving of it, because this is what you get when you get in the middle of another couple's argument.
17.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely miss it. But this figurine that was on a shelf goes slamming into a wall behind you and breaks.
Huh. Dang. What did I do?
Shall we all just go now, and then maybe James can get some sleep while we're being shown where this place is?
Couldn't agree more. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
somebody
Let's go.
Just so we can have some amount of communication established. They were able to touch me where I could feel it. I could feel them tugging on my sleeve earlier. So, Sarah, can you tap my left shoulder for yes, my right shoulder for no, if we need to ask questions, and just make sure that she can tap where I can feel.
You don't feel anything.
Okay, well, I can scope her astrally, though, so I can tell when she moves to a certain side. So, if we need to ask a question, I can look at you, but I will have to trigger that. Okay. And can tell the answer based on where you're standing.
So, as you guys will remember, things get stronger around James. So the further from James you get, the harder it is for her to... But you are right. You can actually see in the astral somewhat. So you could see a movement from her in the astral. Not to tell you guys how to run your stuff, but just to remind you that things are stronger near James than they are away from him.
Yep, so she may not be able to interact as much with us, but we can do that sort of a thing.
Or we could bring James with us and let him, have at least some quiet and kind of rest.
Well, he kind of needs to sleep. I don't know how good he's going to be for us otherwise.
The sooner we sort this all out, the sooner he can sleep properly.
Hmm.
So
I
what's
think
your
we
plan?
are-
Are we trying to take James with? Or
Yes.
just...
Why?
I- because the ghosts can communicate with him better. Hopefully, the rest will just stay at home, occupied by hide and seek.
Yep.
Yeah, but what if it's not because the older children were leaving, but because James was leaving?
Yeah.
Leave James to sleep.
Leave James to
We-
sleep.
Mhm.
We have one we can communicate with, even if it is rudimentary.
True.
We can.
I will also say, in defense of leaving James, you will also remember that when you did take James out, other spirits tried to interact with James while he was out.
It's a fair point.
So, like, there are pluses and minuses to both taking James and not taking James.
If he was able to sleep more, I would say, yeah, absolutely, let's take him. But I don't know that he's going to be much good for us. And if we're going into
I do not know that he will get much sleep.
Well, yeah, but he'll get more here than he will out and about with us.
Oh, yeah, he'll get none out and about.
And given that we may be going to a bad area, it would be a very bad idea to have him there not able to react.
And
Yeah,
causing
yep.
chaos. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right, can we get a
So-
general heading on where we're going to go first? Can she communicate that with James before we leave, get us to like a neighborhood, and then we can establish communications from there?
4 to 6
8
blocks,
blocks east, wasn't it?
Up to
Yeah,
8 blocks
it's
east,
4 to
yeah.
6 blocks in east of where James lives.
Okay, so
That's a general direction.
So let's head 4 blocks east, and then I will do an astral sight, and we'll see where Sarah is heading towards.
Yep.
Can I make a suggestion, Brad, as someone who has had many children?
By all means.
If you just go 4 blocks to the east, since that's not necessarily the pathway they took, they won't recognize anything necessarily and won't be able to tell you anything. You're almost better basically going 1 block and then going, now which way? Going another block and being like, okay, point a direction. Now which way?
Well, that's
Then
kind of what I
you're
was figuring to do once we
starting.
got there. I just wanted to get a little bit closer.
But if you, but they won't be able to necessarily, because if you don't know if it's 4 blocks, but it's more over like 3 blocks to the left, they won't have known anything about that block there, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's going to create a lot more
'Cause-
strain.
Yes, it is. But I'm just telling you how children's brains work. You're better off. Chris, you deal with mostly older kids, right?
Mostly high school age, yeah, but I get
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, littler children, yeah, you have to basically let them walk the path they're walking, or they can't trace it.
Because they remember the path rather than the actual directions.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because keep in mind, the reason that probably James knows east is because they pointed in a direction. The fact that they could say they probably wouldn't be able to tell you it was east. I can take a whole bunch of middle school kids and ask them which way east is, and you're going to get 4 answers, possibly 5, because some of them are either being jerks or that, yeah. So
You'll get up to 360 answers.
yeah, they'll just be random, like it's children. But yes, littler kids, they can't. Like if you ask my children who weren't say 4 blocks from a store, if you ask them which direction the store was, you might not get a very good direction on that. And if you ask them how to get to the store, they only know the way that we go to the store, even though there's 10 other ways to do that. And if you're 2 blocks the wrong direction, they'd be like, well, I don't know where it is from here. Because they know a pathway. They don't know pathway routine, not... Yeah, sorry. But I figured I would let you know that beforehand, because that may affect how, Because I think am I the only one who's had little kids?
I mean, I raised my sister. Well, I mean, not alone, obviously.
But
And
yeah.
I also worked with 3 years old mostly when I was teaching swim lessons.
Yeah, but when it was last time you asked them at a swim lesson how to get to their house? Matter of fact, if you ask most 3-year-olds...
I'm not arguing. You're belaboring this point, and I'm not arguing with you. So,
right. No, sorry.
So, yeah,
I was just like...
No,
I
get what you're
my
saying. I don't know
assumption
why
was
we're
that you guys had
continuing.
had a lot of time with kids. That's fine. So... So you guys have Sarah, who's willing to try to show you the way. So do you want to try to keep your astral on and just recheck every block or so? You want to see how long she can try to guide you before you have to check?
Well, if we can't really get any established communication with her even when we're around James, then we're going to have astral open.
You can always retry. Just because she failed on one doesn't mean she'll fail on every one of them.
But if it's not reliable, we need to go with what works.
It is not. Okay. Yeah, it is not technically reliable.
Can you take a hold of my cloak? Can you just hold on to it and pull it in a direction?
She can try, and she may be able to do it for a little while. Whether it's reliable, he's correct. It is not reliable. So she may be able to, and then may not, and then may be able to pick it back up. It is definitely not reliable. Yes. In this case, at this moment, she does manage to pick up your cloak a little bit. Okay.
So lead us. When my cloak drops, we check astral. And see if she can take up the cloak again. Or if that's too heavy, take some fishing line. Like cut off 2 foot of fishing line and just have rolled one in, I hold the other. Once it drops, we check astral.
Want to try that? That'll work.
Fishing line might work because
it's light.
It's really light,
easy.
Yeah.
Let's see. She manages for the first
physical weight that's going to make a difference. It's more.
It actually does, I would think. It takes more power to be able to move heavier things.
Well, but it's more emotional impact.
There's that too. She definitely has. She definitely has, when she's more emotional, is definitely more able to do stuff.
Do we have anything she's more emotionally attached to? Probably not around here, but is there something we might be able to find?
Now remember, Sarah, this is a very important thing. We're trying to help you and the rest of your friends to get home. Okay? So please just remember that. Focus on that, and we'll do our best to get you home, okay?
Brad, high or low?
Low.
No. There's nothing here that James can think of at the moment that she's taken any particular interest in.
Did she do any of the drawings?
Not the ones on the wall. Or just on the paper? I don't know if James knows which ones are particularly hers. Let's see. Call high or low and see if James can find one that's hers.
Hi.
Why, yes, he does. There's one that's hers, and it's ye old. Here's a picture of my family picture. Seems to be a mommy and a daddy and like 4, 5, 6, 5 kids. But yeah, James digs that out of a pile and hands it to Nigel. And when you have that, you can feel, it feels like she's poking the paper. The assumption would be is she's poking at herself in the picture. That's very hard to interpret, other than you can feel the paper moving in your hand.
Okay, well, if I can feel sort of a direction that it's being tugged. Okay, tug if we need to communicate, tug the left corner for no, tug the right corner for yes. Do you understand?
She'll tap on the paper.
In which direction?
For yes.
Okay. Then we've at least got that.
Towards the sun for yes, and towards the empty space for no. Yes.
Yeah. Whatever we can establish on the thing. Okay, fine. We have
But
communication. Yes. All right. So we'll start walking. Tap when you want us to stop, and it will go for like a block or two.
So you'll go about a block, and then she pokes the paper, and you can feel it almost tug in a direction. And so you end up going a block, and then 2 blocks, and then you ask her which way to go, or to stop, or what.
Yeah, we're kind of following her directions.
So it's basically around that 3rd block that you're not really getting much back from her at this point.
Okay, we'll try to scope astrally.
Astrally, you can see her trying to interpretively beckon you in a direction. And this is not terrifyingly linear. You end up on the 4th block. You're just not sure. She's fading on you a bit. She's having trouble keeping enough strength to keep herself together right now for some reason.
Now she may
By
be
the
getting
5th
more
block,
distraught the closer we get to it.
Yep. The 5th block, it's almost like she's messy looking. And yeah, Nigel's got it. She's becoming more distraught. And basically, let's give her a chance not to do it. Ooh. That is a 2 and a 1. Yeah. She was trying really hard. She wanted to, but she basically, you can see her heading back towards where James is. She's afraid to go much further.
All right.
Which puts you guys much closer to your target.
Okay. You don't have to go any farther. They won't hurt you again. We won't let them. Can you just point, direct us where we need to go from here?
And she does. And then you feel for like almost a brief second, and it's such a very specific motion Like you almost feel a hand on your cheek. And then she's flitted off back towards James's.
Okay, we have a heading.
And since you've been traveling about 4 blocks, you've got to be fairly close.
All right. What animals are in the area?
Birds, cats, mice, rats. I'm assuming above insect level, right? Probably
Probably.
dogs. Immediately, you can definitely see a cat. You're sure there are mice or rats someplace that you just aren't seeing. There's a couple of doves in a tree. It's spring, so they're in a nest
All right.
or building a nest.
Carefully sit down, like nonchalantly ignoring the cat,
Oh,
and put
that makes the cat want to be around you because cats are totally like that. The more you ignore them, the more the cat likes you.
I know. And I got a 6 on animal speak.
Okay.
I can give you some food if you can get us to a place where children are working with flowers in this area.
You cut out on me. We're a place where children what?
Where children are working with flowers in this area. So, boarded up windows, probably. Human kittens.
Lots of children.
Yes.
Never seen them work with flowers. Boarded up windows. Now that I've seen.
Was children working in there?
I don't go in there. But there are children in there. You can smell them. Although, these smell dirtier than most.
Okay. I will take out some dried meat. Give it to the cat now. I'll give you some more if you can guide us to the building.
And the cat is just, it's a cat. It takes its sweet ass time and walks about a block. And it's actually a fairly moderate, nicer neighborhood, but it's shown signs of slowing down, becoming poorer of a neighborhood. Like those were nice buildings when declining. There you go. That's a good word. Declining neighborhood. And there's a building where the main floor, it looks like the windows are boarded up. The upper floors, they're curtained off. But it's 3 stories. It has a double door. And the main floor, at least, the windows are boarded off.
Thank you so much. And give the cats some more dried meat.
And it takes the meat and heads back where it was.
Oh. Easy part. We probably found it. The hard part, verifying it.
watch the place for a little while. There's people coming in and out. We might be able to get an idea.
So you guys want to watch the building for a bit?
Sure. What could possibly go wrong?
What's around here where we could get ourselves a good stakeout position? Is it like another building across the street, or?
Oh yeah, there's buildings on both sides of the streets. Let's see if there's a bench. Call it high or low.
Hi.
August. Hi.
Hi.
Apparently there's a bench. There's some trees. Not many, but there's a few. The nearest pub isn't within eyeshot. I'm sure there's one within just past that, but there's nothing right in eyeshot. It's mostly what was single-family homes, some of which seems to have been probably are boarding houses, but it seems very residential. But yeah, there are buildings on both sides of the street. There's a bench.
Sit on the bench and read a newspaper.
That's.
I'm thinking if we could get a position up on top of a building, that would give us a higher vantage point and keep us out of the main view.
It wouldn't be hard to get on top of one of the other across the street. Probably without them even knowing you're doing it.
Do any of the buildings look like boarding houses or somewhere where you could take a room for the night?
There's a couple of probably at least one or two buildings on the block that have room for rent signs. Because like I said, it's deteriorated. Some people they're bringing in orders to cover the rent.
Of that, probably not worth doing right now if we can get into various hidden positions, but that might be, if we need to stake the place out longer term, that might be worth it.
Yeah.
Morgana will probably just join August on the bench and sit at the other end of the bench and update her diary or something of that sort. Yeah. Pretend to read while sitting on the bench, but probably on the newspaper.
So does Nigel want to go up on the roof of one of the other buildings?
That's what I'm thinking, if I can get to a spot where I'm not going to be seen.
Yeah.
And make the way up
You
there.
could get into an alley behind it and find a point where no one's looking.
Okay.
Make a fairly simple climb roll. You can get up there. Weymont and River.
I'll head up with Nigel.
Okay.
And this one. I got a 5.
Yeah, 5's fine. Weymont will need a simple climb roll too.
Climb, not really one of my best or any stat.
But it is how you get to the roof.
It is. Is it just dexterity, strength, what?
Dex, I believe. Brad? Climb is dex based, right?
I believe so. I would have to look up.
I got
I'm
a
sure it's
9.
dex-based.
I got a
Yep,
9.
not a problem. Make it look good.
All right.
Even. River?
Climbing is indeed dex-based.
I will talk with the other animals in this area. Just see if they know comings and goings, and
Give me 3 talk with animal rolls.
Oh, by the way, since I was still holding on to Sarah's picture, I'm going to be very careful with it and keep it well protected in my inner vest pocket.
That's sweet.
Just in case we need it later.
That makes it less sweet, but practical.
7, 15, 10.
So the three animals you try to converse with that you find pretty easily, all of them will tell you that they don't really see children coming in and out of that building. Like there aren't children coming, like other places the children are in and out every day basically. The one you got the 15 on basically says something about he sees children go in. He doesn't see children come out. There's a lady, and she brings children there on occasion. She never takes the children home.
Have you seen one with the horns coming in and out of the place?
He comes in and out every day, twice a day.
Do you know roughly sunrise, sunset?
Generally, not quite high sun and shortly after dark.
And have you seen any other adults? Large ones, not children?
There's the moving people.
They
They bring in
move.
the boxes, and they take out the boxes. It's weird though. General gist is other they have people move into a neighborhood and they move out, but usually like a bunch of stuff shows up, and then it's a period of time before a bunch of stuff comes out. This it's just some boxes and then some boxes leave, and some boxes leave, but the big horn guy, he's still there.
I'll let Morgana and August know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a place. The troll will be back most likely after sundown. Or is this before noon?
Oh, this would be afternoon because you guys went to the office and then you talked to James and then
So I'm pretty sure we're at the right place. If we're not, we're at a place similar.
It certainly sounds like it from what your sources told you.
So if you guys wait around,
I will carefully clean my firearms real quick. And so is this a fake situation or is this a situation where we should more gently persuade him to come quietly?
Let's try that one first.
I learned boxing just for you.
You're so sweet.
Such a
Before we
nice
do
person.
anything too crazy, I'd like to do an astral scope on the building.
okay.
Weymont, I don't know if you want to do that too.
I will do. I will do. I've been practicing. Which means I can put a tick next to Astral Sight.
Alright, well that is a 13.
Which is good.
I got a 15.
Which is also very good. What is that magic craft or spell pattern craft? Yeah, where you can learn kind of what this magic-y thing is kind of about. You should roll those. That thing.
You mean magic theory?
Yeah, magic theory. That would be the
Yeah,
perfect words that I was missing.
I'm put a tick next to magic theory, just so you know.
Yeah, I say
Oh,
we're
cool.
1879 in general is way off from actually understanding patterns.
Yeah.
Right, sorry. Magic theory.
The theory of magic.
Yes. That is the words we are looking for.
I got an 8.
I don't have magic
Okay.
theory. I can make a straight perception.
So you can make a straight perception.
Yeah, we can see if the dice like me on that one. Yeah, 7.
They don't.
Okay. They
They
don't.
hate you.
They don't like you as well as they did last time we played.
No, but that was a D12 rather than a
so-
D8.
So, Weymont,
Yes.
both of you, Nigel and Weymont, those are runes. There are lots of runes. Weymont, those are fire runes, and there's something about them, and you don't know what it is, but you're wary of those fire runes.
That's a lot of fire runes.
Fire
Like a lot.
But it's more than just that there's there and that there's more than one. There's something about them that you're not sure that you can put your finger on, but it's more along the lines of I've seen a fire rune before, and whereas that is definitely a fire rune, and what why is there an and? There shouldn't be an and after. You know what I mean? Like there's something about them that's tricksy.
And we're talking fire suppression?
You're not sure.
This is the exploding
Well,
house trick.
you're
isn't
not
it?
sure so much as
That's why I'm asking.
fire
Waymont.
suppression would not be. Yeah. No, not suppression. No. Feels a lot more
Right.
like a making a fire.
I see. So this is explosion magic.
So this is the escape route. I'm taking it.
No. I think if anyone breaks the house goes bang, destroying all evidence.
Oh, great! Somebody watch Conspiracy Theory.
So it's not terribly long after sunset where a fairly big troll whose style of dress actually fits the neighborhood. He doesn't look necessarily out of place per se. It's got like a couple of market bags, grocery bags with him, and is heading towards the house. And
Do we intercept and try and stop him before he goes in?
I mean, fundamentally, are we trying to basically get this guy so that we can turn him into the police, or are we just going to nobble him?
I think turning him into the police would probably be better.
Then let's see if we can convince him to come with us.
Just to check, I don't know how we're communicating, but has the issue with the exploding house been communicated to the people on the floor?
I mean, I don't know what you want us to do. Shout down, "Oh, hey guys! By the way, it'll explode."
No. I have sent message.
I would love to see that, though. Oh, a message.
So
Not nearly as fun.
I have a spell that can convey information as long as we have sufficient time before he shows up.
You would have time.
Okay, then yeah, I will relay that down. Fire runes, a house may explode.
You're a Magitech mage, right? Is your spell for message literally lowering a message down on a fishing line?
No,
Yes.
I mean, we could do that too. But...
So you write out what you want communicated on a piece of paper,
Well,
and then
no.
you find a rock, and you tie it to the rock.
I was going to go with 2 tin cans and a piece of string. That's technology.
Yeah. Seems legit.
It requires less strain.
We don't have to solve everything with magic. I can write a message and wrap it in a rock.
Well, as long as they notice.
I mean, I don't know how good your aim.
You're not great.
I mean, they'd probably notice if we hit them with a rock. Or a wall with a rock nearby. Or something like that.
Well, my dex is a step 6.
For getting down off the building?
No, for
throwing.
For
throwing a rock.
You want to throw... We're back to throwing the rock. I thought we were actually using a message. Okay. Rock throwing. You throw a rock near them.
I mean, it has a message wrapped around it.
As long as it's close enough where they notice the rock fall. Or piece of masonry or whatever we get a hold of.
Yes, I mean, save yourself some strain. There will be plenty of time later to burn through strain, I assume.
Yeah.
That's possible. So you guys get a rock with a message. The old school form of magic.
What kind
A
of
rock
just
with the paper tied on it.
When he said you had a spell to deliver messages, I was thinking something a bit more magical.
Like walkie-talkie?
Yeah. So those of you on the ground have a message, and it says that does the message say?
Fire runes on a house may explode.
Okay, there you go.
Wonderful.
Whether or not that deters certain people from going inside, I can't say, but we at least warned them.
I mean, I'm fully expecting River to try and charge through the front door. Why the heck not? Quickest way to rescue people, isn't it?
Well, I wasn't going to name names, but okay.
Okay. So troll guy with grocery bags, heading into the building. Or heading to the building, climbing the steps towards the building.
Astral sight on
Who
that
does what
troll
where?
guy.
Will approach him.
I will be giving that troll guy the eye. The astral sight eye.
Yep, I'm doing that too. I got an 18.
I mean, that's fairly ridiculous, but okay.
The D8 decided it didn't like Andi again.
You and D8s, Brad.
So Brad gets to use the dice roller, and everybody else doesn't have to.
Well, this is the first D8 roll-up I've had, and I've had several rolls from D8s this session, so they're not doing it as crazy as last time.
I'm afraid I got a mere 14.
No, that's not as crazy as last time.
A mere insignificant 14.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get up to the troll and talk to him, basically at the point where he's got the door open. Because that seems the safer way if we do need to get in, if he's opened the door for us.
We will get right back to that, because then you're going to have to make some timing rolls. So, hold on. On the astral. So, your guess would be, from what you're seeing in the astral, is that he is some sort of magic user.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I was figuring it was either that or he had a ward set up on him. that ties in with the fire wards.
I have a salient question. A salient question.
So it's water and salt.
No, that's a saline question. Yeah. Right.
Close enough.
Oh, okay. So anyway, do the wards on the outside of this building look like they could be put up by one person,
Know how you
or the
can tell
runes
that?
rather? I mean, the complexity for one.
Well, why don't you roll that magic theory?
I do love magic theory, and I do love tagging magic theory also.
I'm helping. I'm a good helper.
Because that's it got 4 tags on it now. I'm fairly certain I should be able to increase this. Give me your dice. Ooh. Ooh.
I don't like
3.
ooze. Ooze are bad.
Ooze are not bad. Ooze are great, and you know it. Because I got
Ooze are
28.
bad for me.
I got
Well,
28.
I'm sorry. God damn. All right, 28, boy. There are probably not made by one person, and you're pretty sure that what that and why does it need an and? Why do they isn't necessarily exploding, but exploding could be part of it. But contingency. Contingency is the word of the day.
Ah, it's a contingency spell.
As in something doesn't happen and they go off.
Yes. Oh. Or could it be something does happen and they go off? Both of these things are
Also a
contingencies.
possibility. Matter of fact, since there's several on the building, it could be both. Matter of fact, let me go with it for 28. It is both.
Great.
Because apparently people who do drugs or make drugs, run drugs, are paranoid. Yeah, that's a thing.
Right. So Weymont will gather Nigel to him and kneel down on the roof. Listen. You can see those runes on the building, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no way that was done by just one person. Look at how complex they are.
Right.
Now, you note there how it's a fire rune, right?
Okay. Now you're pointing, and I can see it.
Right. So this is an explosive effect. We're clear on this. But the thing is that it's connected to a contingency. You see that and symbol there?
Aha.
The and symbol. There's an ampersand. Don't you know what that means?
Oh no, it's a rune symbol, of course. Of course you know that. Anyways, right. So that symbol there is a contingent symbol. Now, it's complex enough that there may actually be 2 contingent symbols. It could be if something happens or if something doesn't happen, but there's a trigger anyway. Now, I'm going to go ahead and guess that one of those triggers is on the kids leaving the building.
Sorry, wait. What was that?
I was just saying, I'm going to guess that one of those triggers is on the kids leaving the building.
Okay.
That's
a thought.
I would wager the guess that it's probably on anybody who doesn't have knowledge or some sort of pass key for going through the doorway.
For getting into the building. It could be both. Like I said, it's very complex, and there's lots. And there could be 2 contingencies or even more.
So there's going to be some sort of a key involved with getting not only through the locks on the door, but getting through the wards.
No kidding. In any case, I would strongly encourage that neither River nor anyone else enter that building until we work out what to do with it.
That may be difficult as I look over the edge and I see them going to talk to the guy.
Which is Morgana. I kind of need that initiative esque roll. Yes, I believe you were going to try to go into the building with the door was open.
Well, I was just going to try and wait till the troll's in the midst of opening the door and then start talking to him.
Okay,
So he's
you can do
already
that
got the door
still.
open.
Unless other people are trying to stop you from doing this.
No, if she's going to go and talk to the troll, I will go and help as potential talking to people back up.
I don't know that we can do anything without being spotted.
You could throw
So-
a rock again.
Yeah, but
You
that
could
would
send
be
me a message
spotted.
spell to tell me to stop.
He might not spot you. He's opening a door.
Always
his
wise to
spotted
have.
hole.
If I do the spell, then it pops up and it says the message in my voice.
I mean, listen, it's always wise to have backup when going to talk to a troll. Guy's got fists the size of your head, dude.
I think we're the backup. Which is why
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Which is why we're staying safely across the street on top of the other building.
River will approach. Not like going into his space, but
Well-
that she.
Hold on. Morgana was going to because so
Yeah. So Morgana has
you can
backup.
follow with August if you want.
Yeah.
So Morgana, he goes and he's unlocking the door and he starts to open the door and starts to walk in and you.
Good sir, could I just have a quick word?
And
11 on a first impression.
that's nice. He turns around and there's a kind of a pleasant smile on his face, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Of course, how can I help you? And he closes the door and turns around. Very, very specific that he makes sure that the door is closed as he turns around to look at you. Of course, how can I help you?
I'm just looking for recommendations of where best to set up a small business in this area. Would you happen to know the area well and be able to assist, please? I'm sorry to.
Sorry, it's very residential right here. You might try a few blocks over.
I was just wondering, this building is this a residence or is it? It looks more like a factory of some sort, I thought, but
No, it's a residence, and I have to go in and make dinner. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me.
Yes, dinner.
River, August.
Delicious opium.
River, August. Anybody going to try to say anything to him?
Right, Nigel, just so we're clear, if they try to go into that building, whether or not we get spotted, you're going to have to do that message spell.
If they're going to try to go into the building, I'm probably going to repel them.
Probably a good idea.
Probably.
So, but speaking of, as we're watching, our astral sight should still be active because it lasts for a couple of rounds. When he opened the door, did we see the wards go inert or pause or anything like that?
Nope.
So the wards don't turn off when the door's open. Okay.
They do not.
Alright, well, I am keeping at the ready. If anybody other than him tries to go in, I'm probably going to just drop a repel.
Good idea. I think perhaps, I don't know, we could try and dispel it, but attempting to dispel it might be one of the contingencies. It really could be anything.
Well, and also given the number
It would also
of them, I
be
don't think
hard
we'd be able to
because
get
there's
all
a
of
number
them.
of them.
Yes, we would have to spend some time doing that. Which would allow us to rack up the tags, just saying.
that would be practice, yes.
you're only really supposed to tag once a scene, just going to say.
Oh, blah blah blah.
Morgana will thank the troll for his time and will back off because he's obviously being too careful about this.
August and River.
Back off. I
Yeah.
Okay. He slips in with a really graceful for his size, so that you don't really get to see much inside the building. Like he literally kind of slips in so that you don't get a good view in the building. And I rolled for it too. It wasn't like, 28 or anything like that. So if you want to try to beat that to see what you can see inside, you most certainly can. He had a 9.
Only a 7 from me.
So was that an awareness?
Yeah, it would be an awareness if you have it, or perception if you don't and you want to try.
Yeah. Nice.
I will say it's very obvious the way he's did it was to not let you necessarily just look inside.
10.
But hopefully he's mostly focused on blocking me as the person who's talking to him. And the two people wide might be able to get a better look by stepping a bit wider. Fingers
A lot
crossed.
of karma in there.
got a
11?
10.
11 and a 10? So
14 again.
Sorry?
14.
14, okay. A 10, you can kind of see a little bit in there. There doesn't seem to be much directly in front of the door. With the 14, strangely enough, it's well kept in there, especially what part you can see of this kind of foyer
Mhm.
entry area. It's not, how to put this, it's not that its paint is in good shape. It's there's some furniture. It's sparse. It's not like doesn't have lace doilies or flowers. It doesn't have a quote lady's touch type of thing. But it's clean. It's moderately nicely furnished. You could see like a bench where you could take your shoes off, and it's one of the nice ones with the coat rack and hat rack near it, that part of it.
Mhm.
Like, it's actually, in your opinion, August, better than what probably most of this neighborhood looks like on the inside.
Okay.
You know something, Nigel? I've had a thought.
A dangerous pastime.
Well, maybe for some people. And
Are you doing this in song by any chance?
Which one's guest star?
I don't know.
no,
Clearly Weymont because of the previous comment.
Yeah, fair enough.
no.
I'm glad someone picked up the reference.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, okay. Assuming that this is a small opium production operation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be very, very poor judgment to have some sort of ward up where it would blow up the whole building. You know, on account of the fact that they only have that one building. They would really want to get all of their opium out and any equipment, which is probably quite expensive. And staff too, of course.
I think you may be giving a bit too much importance for how they consider their staff.
Well, yes, but here's the thing, right? Unless it's part of a larger operation, right? Unless they have many such buildings elsewhere, and we've stumbled across some sort of, I don't know, criminal syndicate or something like that, then surely they wouldn't want to, detonate their only operation.
You apparently have never met a meth maker in the Midwest. I won't
Apparently, I
put
haven't.
that part in case maybe it's just in the Midwest. I don't know about meth makers in other areas, but yeah.
I mean, put it this way: like you are common criminal A. Let's call them that, okay? How likely is common criminal A want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let me reaffirm you on meth makers, and yeah, they blow up their stuff and they booby rig them to blow up often, actually.
With them in it?
Sometimes apparently they're just not good at it. It is. It. Let's just say that it has happened to more than two. So yeah.
Well, yes, you're quite
Brad
right.
can back me, I think, but yes.
You're quite right. Weymont would not know that at all.
You're ascribing far too much logic on people who are of this profession.
You don't have
Oh.
it.
Not logic.
They care
morals.
more. Well, both. Like it's happened to many a meth maker where they've blown themselves up. Because usually they are sampling and druggies are not necessarily known to logic correctly.
I would also point out, just to put this on the wavelength here, that opium and meth are not the same thing.
That's true, because meth in and of itself can blow up just in the making of it.
Yes.
But the idea of they care more about making sure that like police and other people getting in and out more than they think about
the concept of mind-altering drugs and paranoia being a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are universal.
Yes, absolutely. But then again, so methamphetamines are, I don't believe they're a relaxant, which opium is.
It depends on your body chemistry, but no, typically they are not.
So like opium, I imagine it would get you high, but only in such a way as, say, an extreme amount of painkillers would get you high.
So it still goes into the criminal drug type of thing where they care more about the police getting involved in going to jail than they care more about the stuff itself.
That's absolutely
true. And I will also say that Nigel is possibly very correct in the two people who are like this, the children are not much more of interest to them than a machine.
Well, no, I mean, I understand that. That's
possibly
true.
Less because the machine probably costs more money.
That's true about everybody in 1800s London. but you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that you know, in order to go to jail or not go to jail, they have to be alive. If they're not alive, they're still just as dead.
It's true.
So they probably don't want to blow it up with them inside it. Is what I'm saying.
Probably not. But
that's reasonable.
Yes.
But this is what you know at this point.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point I was making.
It's not that they 5 more minutes, okay?
Yeah. It's not that they particularly care about the kids or anything like that, or particularly care about the facilities. It's just that they want to be alive, and hence don't want to blow up.
So it's not going to blow up when he's in it.
Yes.
Yeah, but he could have wards to protect himself.
I mean, he
5
could.
minutes, dogs.
Kinda? Could, I suppose. But, I mean...
Either way, there are too many unknowns for us right now. What we know is, don't go into building until we know more.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Because it could be that the guy is just insane. Just like a total Looney Tune biscuit person.
Well, this is a mage that is, like, doing extremely sketchy stuff. Do we want to reach out to Lady Kinnison, or do we want to reach out to the supernatural unit?
I'm going to suggest at this
really
point,
in their purview. They're more, dealing with supernatural events.
Why don't you just give us some time to study the wards, eh?
I'm going to suggest at this point that given we're in two places, Morgana may consider a retreat, make an obvious suggestion to the others on the ground that we should go for a drink somewhere, and make a drinking motion in the direction of the roof the two mages are on, so we can come and have a conflab and work out our next set of tactics.
Agreed.
That's
Just,
fine with me.
Climb down for you two. Simple test again, just don't botch.
Before we go,
Don't want either of you to fall off and bust your heads.
Before we go, and this is mostly just making note, I may need to make a roll for it later. I'm just kind of getting a scope, just physical scope of like the size and shape of the building from what I can see from the upper levels here. Mostly, if I needed to try and do like a field or a civil engineering test or anything like that to try and look at it and look for points of ingress and egress, just establishing that I've done that look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noted.
Okay.
Hey, Nigel, looks like they're coming back. Come on, we need to get down and go and chat with the mundanes.
Yes, let's go do that.
The mages are getting cliquish now that we know there's two.
No, we can just shoot them.
Well,
All the fun parties.
Make a rough map of the building and the lot and the buildings around it.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, a very rough map of 21.
That is the nicest rough map I've ever seen.
I got a 4 on
It may
the line.
even just be, a map.
At this point, yes, it is much likely.
I got a 4 on the climb. I don't know if you heard.
4?
I got
you,
7.
You make it. It's not graceful, but you make it. Like I said, literally, that was only gonna have if you botched. Like it was pretty. All right.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. With that, because my dogs are gonna lose it because I didn't take them, you know where. And apparently, there's an issue with the plumbing. I'm going to skedaddle, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
Starting what time? 10, not 10 for you guys, but equivalent.
Or
Starting.
So that would
All
be
good?
on the 10th.
All right.
Make the
should
calendar
be.
event.
Because I didn't know if with it being spring.
Oh, and Yippee,
if-
that's when daylight savings time engages here.
That's not till the end of March for us.
Okay.
So
Well, it wasn't.
either way, I will put the event and it changes it to your local time zone.
It does.
But
Well,
It's like magic.
the reason I mentioned spring was because of SCA stuff. I didn't know if that had started back up in full swing or not. So making sure.
Yeah, no, the
So
next time we're away is the beginning of April. Basically the first full weekend in April we're away.
Okay, so we
For
got.
Crown Tournament.
Are the
Well,
other
you get
weekends not full? Oh, fully in April. Never mind. Okay.
Brad.
So that we can, for the schedule, we can figure the 10th, the 24th, because that would be the next one, and then that weekend, the 7th, which is the first weekend fully in April, you're gone for that one?
Yeah, me and Joel aren't here.
Okay. So we'll probably have to skip for that one. So then the next session after that would be the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And is it a fully
Yeah.
not here or is it a late start?
The 7th, well- Yeah, because we're in Belfast.
Okay. Well, that at least gives me. We can get through next month, and then the rest we can sort out from there.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Perfect. All right. You guys are
Excellent.
awesome.
APs?
400. Yeah, 400. Mostly because you guys didn't rush in and blow up a building.
What?
I know.
What?
I was
Us?
hoping
No.
someone would rush in and blow up a building, and then all the kids would be dead, and it would be just amazingly funny. but no.
Luckily for us, River did not decide that it was gonna clock.
Hey, River helped
Hey,
you guys
hey, hey,
out a
hey, hey,
lot.
hey.
First
Hey.
off, River helped you guys out a lot with distracting the children so that he could be a little more coherent.
It's true, River is very distracting, and that is sometimes useful.
And in River's defense, it wasn't River that started shooting the last time. That was me.
That's right.
So
And it
you
worked,
want me to
so
tell
there.
that you want me to say that you didn't decide that it was gonna clock? Well done. Excellent job.
All right, how'd you guys? I gotta go take the dogs out. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Are we still streaming?
I will go ahead and get that turned off. So, as usual, thanks very much, everybody, for joining, and we will catch you in the next one.